welcome to another video from Creativo Solutions. You're currently watching the start of the Internet Education How-To video series. If you have any comments or questions during the video, please feel free to post them below and consider subscribing to this channel and you'll be the first to find out when new videos are uploaded. Visit the website for more content and resources to help you. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter and keep watching the YouTube channel for more support. Recently, Google launched a Google Mobile Site Certification. The Google Mobile Site Certification has an exam guide which is accessible from Google Partners. I will post a link in the description, and if you're interested in completing the course yourself, there'll be a link in the description for you. The exam covers basic and advanced concepts, including best practices for creating, managing, measuring, and optimizing mobile sites. There's a very specific breakdown of all the different chapters and topics that are covered during the actual exam guide that you need to go through in order to pass the exam, which is written at the end. Some of the topics that are covered: dev tools for analyzing a website's accessibility, the critical rendering path, different website resources, and mobile site design best practices. There's a lot of content. I find it very useful. I have a website and I'm going to actually be applying the concept that was covered in the Google Mobile Site Certification to try and make the website more user-friendly and more easily accessible on mobile devices. Before I share more information with you, there's a quick third-party disclaimer here. The material in this video is based on information, products, or services by third parties. Third-party materials comprise of the products and opinions expressed by their owners. As such, I do not assume responsibility or liability for any third-party materials or opinions. I cannot guarantee the accuracy of the information contained in the third-party material. Presentation of such third-party material is simply used as a tool for educational purposes. All trademarks appearing in this guide are the property of their respective owners. So as I mentioned earlier, if you go to the Google Partners website, I will post a link in the description in case you're wanting to go through to this particular site, and you'll see an introduction here talking about the exam study guide. They give you a breakdown of the exam topics, the exam formats, as well as notes regarding passing the actual examination. If you go through to your Google Partners sign-in page, you'll obviously see different categories here: overview, my profile, certifications. There's an AdWords certification, the analytics, and the mobile sites. Currently I've completed the analytics examinations, which I've passed, and I also have now completed the Google Mobile Sites examination in order to get the certification. These are the Google exams that I've written. There's the Google Analytics Certified examination, and there's the Mobile Sites Certified examination. Obviously these examinations will expire. Something very interesting which I found going through the exam study guide is Google had recorded some information here regarding the user expectations, and there's a bit of statistics here regarding the speed at which people access mobile sites on their mobile devices. We know in today's world everyone has a smartphone or a tablet or some sort of mobile device that allows them to access information straight from that device, and most people drop off in terms of not continuing with the actual funnel process in order to complete the conversion or to realize the sale, and others just don't see the information that they're requiring and search for that elsewhere. If you look at this particular table, you'll see that when the actual mobile site is optimized, there's always been a benefit that's derived for improving the speed at which users are going to be accessing the information on that particular website. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to try show you what I've taken away from this particular course. I'm just going to use one of the tools that was provided in the actual course to help me optimize my website, and you'll see how I will be doing that going forward. So the Google Mobile Site Certification gives you a really good understanding of how to optimize the accessibility of your website on different mobile devices. I'm a really big fan of Google. I love the products that Google creates, and Google definitely makes our lives a lot easier. And by allowing us to register and complete these different certifications, it definitely expands our skill set. And I'm going to now share with you some of the information that I've learned from having passed this particular certification. And now we have the website, which I've created and manage and maintain, which is www.creativosolutions.com. Just in terms of its current performance, let's see what the actual accessibility is like for this particular website. When covering the Google Mobile Site Certification, Google provides you with this resource that you can actually access through Google Chrome, whereby you can actually see what the accessibility is like for someone using a mobile device on a particular internet connection. So we'll assume that this is a new user who's going to be first searching for and accessing this website. There's not going to be any cache, which basically means the PC or the device is actually storing information from the actual website, so it makes the browsing a lot quicker. So to avoid that delay when actually accessing the website. And in terms of the actual speed, I'm going to start off by looking at regular 3G. In today's world, depending on which country you're coming from, you'll probably have different internet speeds in your particular regions. I'm going to be looking at 3G as something that would be applicable to most countries out there. There will be better internet connections in most of the countries out there, but I'm going to use that as a base to see what sort of performance we get from the actual website in terms of people accessing this for the first time. So I'm going to change that to regular 3G speed, and then I'm going to actually look at the recording to see how does this website actually perform. So there we go, we've run the test, and it has obviously loaded all the resources that this website requires in order to view the information that you have on your mobile device. So as you can see, in terms of size, the first bit here, which is a document, other size 212 bytes, the time here 341 milliseconds. The rest is very short. Are there any other items? Yes, there's a text HTML here, also taking up quite a bit of time when actually accessing the website for the first time. There's a GIF, which is obviously an image that's being loaded. Images do tend to take up the most time when actually loading a website, so ideally you would want to try reduce the image size as much as possible in order to speed up the access to that particular website. If we continue scrolling down, we can see we have another image here, 110 milliseconds again. If we total up everything, we can see that in terms of the finish time, it was approximately 1.64 seconds in terms of the load time to get this page displayed. If I now change the speed, let's use regular 4G, and let's record the speed for this particular website. Okay, and for that test, we can see again the speed was 1.69 seconds. Let's use DSL cable, so let's have a look at the speed here. Less than a second, 981 milliseconds. So things are looking pretty good with the better internet connection. Just out of interest, let's take the slowest connection, which is GPRS, just to have a look at this particular speed. it, and you can see the time here, it's 2.47 seconds, so just under 3 seconds to access this video using GPRS, which would be the slowest internet connection available out there. If we use regular or good 2G, let's use regular 2G just out of interest, just to see what the actual speed is for this particular test. And you can see it takes just over 2 seconds to access this particular home page, which is the first page, the landing page for when someone accesses this particular website. So I'm just going to move that aside for now, and I'm going to access another page. Let's have a look at something like the online education page. If I click onto that link, it then opens up this particular screen, and again we're going to be looking at performance in terms of accessing that page. So looking at regular 3G speed, I can see that again we've got a document here, we've got 88 milliseconds there for a .js JavaScript file there. We've got again the images, the GIF images here, 104 and 244 and then 105. So that particular page using 3G, regular 3G speed, takes around almost a second to access. If I choose a page with slightly more images and information, I'm going to open up the group support classes, and we can see that took just over 2.2 seconds to regular 3G speed. If I look at another page, maybe the individual support classes, we can see that takes 1.63 seconds. Right, this page is actually very interesting in terms of our analysis. If I click the Learn for Free link, it opens up this page. Obviously this page has a lot of links as well as images, and I'm even referencing certain videos as well for users that choose to browse this particular web page on the website. So if I'm looking at this particular website, we can see that it takes a long time, or longer than all the other pages. It took 30 seconds, and that's on regular 3G speed. So if this was on a mobile device, that'll be extremely slow. I don't think people would probably even wait that long. 30 seconds to wait for a page to load would be very long. Page that needs our attention in terms of we're going to be focusing on optimizing that page and trying to make it a lot faster in order to provide a better user experience. That's regular 3G speed. If I use regular 4G speed, let's see what the speed is like for this particular page in terms of access. And we can see even with 4G speed, regular 4G speed, this particular page is still taking a while to actually access, which isn't a good reflection on the actual website, because most people are going to be using mobile devices to access this particular website, and if that's the case, it's still going to take them 20 seconds for them to access this particular page. So this particular page definitely needs my attention in terms of trying to speed up the loading of all these different resources. And if I look at what's actually taking up the most time, we have a document here, we've got a few seconds here for, let's just stretch this across just to have a look at what this is. Okay, so obviously my YouTube links here onto the website. We've also got documents here. Again, YouTube links, the embedded YouTube links. That's taking almost a second for each of those. We've got a document again. If we scroll further down, what else do we have? We've got, again, JavaScript files there that need to be run. Let's have a look. The embedded player. Right, so as you can see, there's a lot of resources being loaded for this one particular site in terms of all the video content that I've included here as links to the YouTube channel. And that seems to slow down the access to this particular website a lot if we were accessing this on a mobile device. You can see all of these YouTube links are taking up so much time in terms of loading because there's an embedded player on this particular web page. So this site definitely needs to be improved. If we're looking at the 4G speed, we can see it still takes just under 20 seconds to access this one particular page, and that isn't good at all if someone is going to be accessing this web page from a mobile device. If I look at another page in terms of the information that we have here, we can see that that page takes just under 3 seconds to load. So we can obviously see the most challenging page on this particular website is the Learn for Free page, purely because there are so many YouTube links in terms of the, let me go back to the page and show you what I mean. In terms of all of these video links that come from YouTube being pulled through to this one particular page. You can see how long that took to load using the speed that we've selected here, which was regular 4G. If I slowed it down, it even takes slower to load, and that is definitely problematic from an access point of view. So this is definitely one page that needs to be improved. I do think I can eliminate some of the videos that are being referenced here, and I should put a note for users to click through to the actual YouTube channel from their phone. Obviously YouTube would generally have a dedicated app on that particular user's phone and or tablet, and they would then access the video straight from the application, and the application would definitely run a lot smoother and a lot quicker as well for people to actually watch the videos. So I do think this page needs to be improved purely because we can see how long it actually takes for this one page to load. When I ran through it again, how long did this particular page take? Even longer, a minute now, and regular 4G. So you can see, depending on the actual connection that we have, this page can either take, we saw it was almost 30 seconds. Now when I ran it again, regular 4G speed was 1.2 minutes because I was scrolling up and down and actually looking at the content on the page, and therefore different elements or resources rather were being loaded in the background for this particular website to show on a mobile device. So I definitely need to improve the accessibility of this particular website. On desktop it runs perfectly fine because obviously a desktop computer or laptop would most probably be using maybe cable internet or perhaps even Wi-Fi with a slightly higher speed in terms of accessing this particular web page. So that's definitely a point that I need to make, is the speed in terms of access for the Learn for Free web page needs to be improved. There can be small improvements made to the other pages in terms of the images. One of the most resource hungry components that you can include on a website is definitely the images. The images tend to take the longest time to load, which is most problematic for users. For example, if I show you this page here, which has a large image on the actual web page, the About Us page has images here which are quite large as well in terms of resolution and size, and we can see from the test when looking at regular 4G speed, this particular page took over 3 seconds to load for regular 3G. If I look at regular 4G. And we're back again, guys. Now we're looking at the website with some improvements. So again, remember earlier we saw there were 2 pages that had a lot of resources that needed to be loaded, which really reduced the speed of a user who was maybe accessing this particular website from their mobile device. And that's definitely going to slow the access to the actual information, and most likely they're not even going to read the information. So let's see how the changes have improved the website. Notice I've deleted all my browsers. So I'm using Chrome, and I've deleted the cache, so this is like I'm accessing the information for the first time. None of these links are highlighted because I haven't clicked into any of them yet. So again, if I open up the interface for this particular tool to access the information, again, this is the front page. I didn't do any changes to the front page to be using normal regular 3G speed. Let's see what the actual performance is like if we had to access this page. Again, 1.55 seconds, which is less than 3 seconds. If you've gone through the material on the Google mobile site certification, you would have seen there's a note indicating that 3 seconds or less would be ideal. You would want your page to be accessible as quick as possible. Less than a second would be brilliant. Anything less than 3 seconds would be seen as being quite good. So as long as you're keeping your page access to less than 3 seconds, that's a good sign. Remember earlier we looked at those pages that really took a long time to load. So we're going to go to the Learn for Free page. Well, let's start with the About Us page. If I click the About Us page, you can see that particular page is now taking 1.76 seconds, and that's with regular 3G. If I speed that up a bit more, regular 4G, and I run the screenshots, we can see the page only takes 1.46 seconds. So it's really improved. I did reduce the resolution for some of the images that I have on this particular website, just to make it a lot more easier to access in terms of not having to load such a massive image, and that definitely speeds access to that particular web page. Now we need to look at this particular page, which is the Learn for Free page. Earlier we saw it took anything from 30 seconds to around a minute just to access that particular website. I need to change the speed. I'm going to start with, let's use regular 3G speed, disable cache. We do want to disable cache, and we're going to run this for the Learn for Free page. Right, and the page has the page completed? Let's check the loading. Yes, it has. Okay, so you can see I've only included 3 videos here. Before I had, I think, around 7 or 8 video links here for this particular website. So I've reduced it now to 3 videos, but even with 3 videos, this is still taking 41 seconds, which is extremely slow. So I need to reduce this even more by reducing more of these images. This isn't a very good website yet, or web page yet. If I look at regular 4G, just to get an idea of what the speed is like for this page now with some of the improvements, does that make much of a difference? Let's have a look. Has everything loaded? Yes, everything has loaded. So everything has loaded, those 3 videos here, and we can see it's taking around just under 20 seconds. Again, that's not good. This page needs to be condensed even further, because as it currently stands, this page is still using too much information in terms of processing everything from the YouTube channel onto this actual web page. You can see that I've only got 3 videos here now, and a further link here to the actual YouTube channel, and that'll direct users to their application on their mobile device, and that should open the YouTube channel as it does here. So that's the objective. The objective is trying to reduce your resources on the web page as much as possible to avoid these long delays with loading the actual page. If I scroll up and I look at the actual resources that are being loaded, again you can see there's a lot of resources allocated to the YouTube channels in terms of the embedded players that's being used in order to show those videos. That definitely needs to improve. If I use cable, disabling cache, that's fine. How long did that page take to load? 15 seconds. Again, not ideal. It needs to be faster. I need to reduce the number of videos that are being displayed on this particular web page. Okay, now everything is loaded. We've got the images and the YouTube videos there, which is great. And we can see that took 25.11 seconds. More improvements can be made to this particular web page. I do think the size of these videos are also too large. I should maybe shrink these a bit smaller to put a smaller thumbnail of the actual video on the actual web page to avoid having to load so much content for this particular website. We need to improve the website further to make this more easily accessible on mobile devices. Welcome back, guys, and now we're ready to complete the 3rd test, and let's see if the improvements have made the user experience better for someone who's accessing this particular website on a mobile device. Earlier on, we saw this particular page, the Learn for Free page, created the most delay when accessing information. So if I go back to our interface here, let's have a look at the time it would take us to access. So disable cache, regular 3G, and if I load this page, we can see a particular home page with regular 3G took 4.77 seconds, with regular 4G, this page takes 1.4 seconds. So we can see that that's a very good improvement in terms of just general access in terms of speed using those different internet connections that we've got here as a test. Yep, 4.24 seconds. So again, if we were looking at regular 3G speed, the home page, i.e. the landing page for this particular website, takes just over 4 seconds to access. And that's not ideal. I could definitely look at maybe speeding this up by reducing the size of some of the images. I definitely think the size of the images need to be improved for the landing page to make it easier to access. So that's definitely something that I can adjust. The biggest change that I want to show you here is the Learn for Free page. So we're starting with regular 3G, disabling cache. We're going to record that. So capturing screenshots. Let's go to the Learn for Free page. On the Learn for Free page, that took us 34 seconds using regular 3G. So an improvement. You can see I've reduced the size of the videos that I've actually placed on the website. So the size of the video has been reduced, as well as the number of videos. I only have 2 videos here now instead of the 3 that I showed you earlier. Let's go with regular 4G speed, and let's see what we have here for this particular page. There we are. Page loaded, everything, yes. Okay, those are the 2 videos. We've got all the descriptions and everything there, and everything seems to be loaded. And that took us, in terms of the finish, 17.58 seconds for the actual loading of the entire page from start to finish. 17.5 seconds isn't ideal. So I do think 1 video referenced here would be ideal. That would definitely help speed things up if someone was trying to access this on a mobile device. And we're back again for our last test. We're going to be looking at the improvements that have been made to see what has the performance been like for this particular website. I'm going to pull up our interface here, and I did make a slight improvement to this particular landing page. I reduced the size of the image in order to help reduce the amount of time that it would take to actually access this. So disable cache, yes. We want regular 3G speed, and let's run the test for this particular page. And there we go, 4.5 seconds. That's regular 3G speed. And if I look at regular 4G speed, regular 4G speed, 2 seconds. That's impressive. It's less than 3 seconds. It's now 2 seconds to access the landing page with regular 4G speed. So I'm happy with that. Obviously, with slower internet connection, you'll have a slower access, but I would assume that users using, let's say, regular 3G wouldn't mind waiting 1 or 2 extra seconds just to actually load the page, which, as you can see, takes just under 5 seconds to load. So 5 seconds to load the landing page. For me, I'm happy with that considering what it was before. I think it was around 7 seconds or so. That will obviously be a slight improvement. So there is a general improvement for that particular web page. Now we need to look at the most important page, the page that takes the longest to load, which we saw earlier. So regular 3G speed, that's what we're going to choose, disabling cache, and we're going to be looking at the Learn for Free page. And there we go. It looks like everything has loaded, has it? It appears so. Brilliant. So if I'm looking at this particular page, and you can see the biggest improvement can be seen on this particular page. When loading this particular page, we saw previously that this page took around 30 odd seconds, or even close to a minute to load, and most people would never ever wait that long. And this was regular 3G speed. Now I see it did change from what we first had, which was the 10 seconds. It's now changed to 19. Let's run the test again and have a look at what the actual speed is. I'm not going to touch anything or scroll. I'm just going to wait for it to finish. Okay, there's the video. I can see the video is uploaded on the left. And that looks like 9.72 seconds. Yeah, so around 10 seconds. Okay, and then it changes to 18.8 seconds because of this last line item, which takes 3.59 milliseconds, which is the embed, which is the video here, which is the interaction for that particular website. Okay, so we saw the website loads in the first 10 seconds. Then there seems to be some background resources that are taking place. This is a log interaction. This is for, what does it say here? This is embed player, and these are embedded players as well. Right, so it's probably referencing some background resources because that was obviously a plugin on the website to allow YouTube to play directly from this particular web page. So 18.87 seconds after having run it again. But as you can see, if I rerun the test, so let me rerun it for you again, and I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here so you can actually see when this last bit is actually loaded. There we go, loading, loading, loading. Pictures, pictures, there's the video coming up. There's it, and it's up. And that took 9.92 seconds. Right, then there's obviously some background information happening or taking place, and then something else is then uploaded a bit later, which doesn't change the actual viewer experience in terms of seeing the information that has uploaded. So 10 seconds to view a page on regular 3G, which is a lot better than what it was before, which was over 30 seconds, close to a minute even when we did some of the earlier tests. If I then change this to regular 4G speed, disabling cache, let's run the test again. Again, I'm going to keep this on for you guys to see so you can actually see how the page is loading. So if this was a mobile device, obviously with a mobile device the pages load over time, and therefore if I look at the actual loading of these pages, let's have a look at what the actual speed is like using regular 4G speed. That's up, there we go, and now it's up and running. 3.79 seconds. I'm more than happy with that as an improvement. 3.79 seconds, and then again after a while it jumps to 13.2, but we can see the page has already loaded. Right, so that's what I've actually taken away from the particular course, is that web pages have to be optimized for mobile devices in order to make the user experience the best for people accessing and browsing the website. As you can see, I've taken my own website and I've improved it drastically. The worst page on this particular website was this one, the Learn for Free webpage. And we could see that this Learn for Free webpage, earlier I showed you, I had all the videos, I had so many videos referencing YouTube directly on the webpage. It's great using a desktop PC because desktop PCs run on a much faster internet connection, but looking at a mobile device, viewers are definitely not going to wait 30 seconds or close to a minute or even over a minute to access this particular page. So I'm really happy with the improvements that I've made, and I need to thank Google for having that mobile site certification course that allowed me to access this information and to learn how to improve this website to make it quicker and faster for people to access it on mobile devices. So let's show that test again. Regular 4G, clear it, and let's run it again for the last time. Loading, there's it up, and we can see 3.49 seconds. I'm more than happy with that particular response. And you can see everything's loaded here on the left. Obviously there's some background information that's being loaded over time, but the actual page is up and running after 3.5 seconds. So I'm very happy with that test, and again, it's all because Google had provided that certification to allow me to cover this course. 3.57 seconds, brilliant. Less than 5 seconds, I'm happy for this particular page, which is referencing an external video from YouTube. And that concludes this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any comments or questions, please post them below. I will have links to the resources that you can make use of on Google in terms of the Google Partners website. And if you want to also complete that mobile site certification, I definitely think it's a good idea to help make you more familiar with the power of the tools that Google has provided us with, and with these tools we can definitely make the user experience better for the websites that we have. Consider liking the video and subscribing, and we'll keep making more to help you.